Hey everyone, get ready for a captivating journey that will leave you craving for more.
From exploring the depths of our world to understanding the human psyche. Come join us on this adventure. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And this is the Edible Attitude Podcast. Good evening, girl.
Is it evening?
Well, good night.
Good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's all the same.
Definitely not the morning.
Good evening, kind sir.
Good evening. How was your week?
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, and that...
Oh my gosh, I missed that. Yes, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's been a week. I don't know.
Well, from the whole week, because, we had an unexpected accident last week.
Yeah, do you want to talk about your unexpected accident last week?
Sure. So, long story short, I got lightheaded, passed out, and smashed my face, and had to get some stitches.
Yeah, that was super, super fun.
Yeah, not so much. It was definitely weird.
Yeah.
For sure.
Kind of a scary couple days, eh?
Yeah. But I'm better now.
Yeah, your jaw feeling better?
Little at a time.
Yeah.
Taking it day by day. But I mean, other than that, it's fine. I haven't ripped my stitches at all, so that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
I haven't been bleeding abnormally, and my teeth don't hurt, so that's also good.
Yeah, it seems like you're healing fairly well.
For the most part.
Guess we'll know tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, now that we know how your week went.
Oh, yeah. How's your week? How was your week? How'd it go?
It was stressful.
I bet.
That's okay. You're good now, so I'm good now. It was a busy weekend.
Yeah, you were going all weekend.
But that's what happens. Show choir competition season. It's busy, busy, busy.
Yep. You have lots of far away shows.
Indeed.
Well, I shouldn't say far away, because far away to people in Europe is like 2 hours. That's a short drive for us Americans.
Well, most of these comps are 2 hours or less away, so yeah.
Also a short drive.
A short drive.
Just a hop, skip, and a jump.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't enjoy going on 2-hour adventures or escapades, but I'll do it.
I don't have any fun anecdotes.
I got one.
Yeah?
How does Harry Potter get down a hill?
I don't know.
He walks. J.K. Rowling.
Oh my god. That was not funny.
That was a good one. Come on.
No.
Made you chuckle a little bit in your heart?
Maybe in my heart.
Maybe a little bit.
I'm sorry, I probably should have laughed, because I should laugh at your jokes. Make you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, it definitely helps me from time to time. It keeps me going. It keeps me fighting throughout the day. It reminds me what I'm striving for day after day.
Yeah, you just brought me up Ken. Your day isn't complete unless Barbie says hi to you.
Yeah. I just know beach. That's about it.
That's it.
Just beach. That's about it.
That's it.
Or in my case, it's just metal. Always metal. I know metal.
That's your job, is metal.
Metal.
Yeah.
My job is metal. Mm-hmm. My job is metal. Sick, dude.
That's sick, dude.
Speaking of fucking metal, this week we're going to go over somebody that has affected the Russian Empire negatively or positively, depending on how you look at it.
Oh?
We're going to talk about Rasputin.
Rasputin. All right. That's exciting.
What do you know about him?
Honestly, I don't really know anything about him. You've told me a little bit about what he did, and I think I've seen maybe some, because, I'm on History Talk, so I've seen some TikToks about him, but honestly don't really know anything. That he's Russian and he was a healer.
Fair enough. Yeah, he was a holy man in a sense.
Yeah. And he lived, early 1900s? Late 1800s? I don't know.
It was around there.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a good guess.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's what a lot of people know. And plus, the song.
The song, right.
I didn't know about him until the song, so there's that.
Honestly, I've never paid attention to that song, so I didn't even know what it was about.
Yeah. It's an interesting, definitely interesting song. It really tells his story in a nutshell. Not really from start to finish, but more of his like adult years.
Oh yeah, I guess there's probably not a lot known before his, time with the royal family.
Yeah, not a lot of people do know about that, but we will talk about that.
Oh, sweet.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
So let's get into it.
Let's do her.
Just for future reference, there are Russian words in here.
Ooh.
And I'm going to fuck them up.
Good. Let's do it.
So bear with me, people. Grigory Yefimovich Rasputin was born a peasant in the small village of the Russian Empire. According to official records, he was born on the 21st of January, 1869, and christened the following day.
Happy birthday, Rasputin.
Yay! There are few records of Rasputin's parents. His father was a peasant farmer and church elder who had been born in the same small town and married Rasputin's mother in 1863. His father also worked as a government courier, ferrying people and goods between different cities and towns. The couple had 7 other children, all of whom died in infancy and early childhood.
Wow, so he was the only surviving child of his parents.
According to historians, Rasputin's youth and early adulthood are a black hole about which we know almost nothing, though the lack of reliable sources and information did not stop others from fabricating stories about Rasputin's parents and his youth after his rise to prominence. Historians agree, however, that like most Siberian peasants, including his mother and father, Rasputin was not formally educated and remained illiterate well into early adulthood. Local archival records suggest that he had somewhat unruly youth, possibly involving drinking, small thefts, and disrespect for local authorities, but contain no evidence of his being charged with stealing horses, blasphemy, or bearing false witnesses, all major crimes later imputed to him as a young man.
So he was just a typical teenage boy.
Just a ruffian.
Just a ruffian and thug. Got it.
Well, I mean, if you're born in the late 1800s, early 1900s, you gotta be tough, right?
Right, I guess, yeah.
In 1886, Rasputin relocated, where he met a peasant girl named Praskovia Dubrovina. After a courtship of several months, they married in February of 1887. His wife remained devoted to him throughout his travels and rise to prominence, and even until his death. The couple had 7 children. Apparently 7 was a thing in his family.
Apparently.
Though only 3 survived to adulthood: Dmitri, Maria, and Vivara.
Do we get to find out why he converted?
Like turned into his holy manness?
Like what, something like happened?
Kinda.
Okay, alright.
In 1897, Rasputin developed a renewed interest in religion and left to go on a pilgrimage. His reasons are unclear. According to some sources, he left the village to escape punishment for his role in horse theft. Other sources suggest Rasputin had a vision of the Virgin Mary, while still others suggest that his pilgrimage was inspired by a young theological student. Whatever his reasons, Rasputin cast off his old life. He was 28 years old, married 10 years, with an infant son and another child on the way. According to historians, his decisions, quote, could only have been occasioned by some sort of emotional or spiritual crisis.
So, are you saying he left his young family?
Yes. To go on a pilgrimage. Yep.
Okay.
He sure did.
Wow. That's awesome.
He's like, God called me, I gotta leave.
Sure. I feel like people use that as a scapegoat all the time. Jesus is calling me, I gotta go.
That's what I say when I'm sick from work. Call my boss and I'm just like, hey boss, God called, can't come in today. He's like, okay.
I'm gonna try that. See what happens.
Then everybody asks me the next day, oh, what was wrong? Are you sick? No, man, God called me. He told me I couldn't come in. He told me I wasn't supposed to go.
Well, it's better than you telling people I push you down the stairs.
You did. That's how I got this cut on my chin.
Mm-hmm.
That's bullshit.
Well, maybe you should behave.
What if I don't want
Then you're going to be getting kicked down the stairs.
to? Apparently. Better start padding the stairs down so I can brace my fall. There's some sharp corners over there.
They are.
Rasputin had undertaken earlier shorter pilgrimages to other holy monasteries and cathedrals, but his visit to St. Nicholas Monastery in 1897 transformed him. There, he met and was profoundly humbled by an elder. Rasputin may have spent several months at the monastery, and it was perhaps here that he learned to read and write. However, he later claimed that some of the monks engaged in homosexuality and criticized monastic life as too coercive.
Oh. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. But
I'm just all weirded out about it. And, the fact that they're holy men should be doing that.
Yeah.
Technically.
Sure, but you really think that doesn't happen?
No. I sure don't.
Yeah.
I definitely think it happens. More so than we think.
Oh, I think about it all the time.
Oh my God. Is that your Roman Empire?
That's my Roman Empire.
Oh God.
No, it's not.
Is that what your dreams are about? Holy men making love to each other?
Oh God. No, I do not have gay dreams. Yeah, okay, I regret my decisions.
Hey, you're the one that opened your mouth. He returned home as a changed man, looking disheveled and
he went home.
Yeah, after that, he returned home.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, after several months.
Mm-hmm.
He saw the gayness and he's like, nah, I'm out. I'm done.
Not for me, thanks.
I can't handle it. Looking disheveled and behaving differently. He became a vegetarian, swore off alcohol, and prayed and sang much more fervently than he had in the past. Rasputin spent the years that followed as a holy wanderer, leaving the town where his family was for months or even years at a time to wander the country and visit a variety of holy sites.
Apparently he saw some shit at that monastery.
He literally saw God.
Literally.
Well, there's a reason the butthole's called Satan's Alley, so...
You're horrible. Oh, man.
Those gay monastic monks. By the early 1900s, Rasputin had developed a small circle of followers, primarily family members and other local peasants, who prayed with him on Sundays and other holy days when he was present. Building a makeshift chapel in his father's root cellar, the group held secret prayer meetings there. These meetings were the subject of some suspicion and hostility from the village priest and other villagers. It was rumored that female followers were ceremonially washing Rasputin before each meeting, that the group sang strange songs, and even that Rasputin had joined a religious sect whose ecstatic rules were rumored to include self-flagellation and sexual orgies.
Sign me up.
Good Lord. I mean, they used to have bathhouses, so there's that.
Yeah, that's gross. No one needs to, no.
See, it wasn't gay, so he was okay with it.
Yeah, it wasn't gay. No, thank you.
Is what it is, I suppose. Whether it was true or not, I have no idea. It was just speculation.
What religion is this?
A Russian one.
Okay.
Probably some form of... I don't know.
I don't know.
Word of Rasputin's activity and charisma began to spread in Siberia during the early 1900s. At some point during 1904 or 1905, he traveled to the city of Kazan, where he acquired a reputation as a wise wanderer who could help people resolve their spiritual crisis and anxieties. Despite rumors that Rasputin was having sex with female followers, he made a favorable impression on several local religious leaders.
Oh, he's a cult leader. Okay, sorry.
Or it was his beard. That thing was beautiful.
Was it?
It was huge.
He's a cult leader, obviously. So
maybe he was early...
Pastafarian?
Oh, maybe. Before it was a thing. I wonder if they were calendars. Did they find old calendars from the 1900s?
Oh, I'm sure there were. I'm sure.
I feel like those are more like leaves or baskets or something that they use, you know?
Yeah, it could be. Well, I don't know.
What do I know? It
you
could
don't
be
know
metal.
anything.
I know I don't. Google tells me.
I was just kidding. I'm sorry. Don't mean to hurt your feelings.
Oh, you never do.
Okay.
Among these were those of significance, and they gave a letter of recommendation to the Bishop of St. Petersburg and arranged Rasputin to travel there. Upon arriving, Rasputin was introduced to church leaders, including the inspector of the theological seminary, who was well connected in St. Petersburg society and later served as confessor to the imperial family.
Sorry.
So he was a big deal.
He was kind of a big deal.
The holy man was so impressed with Rasputin that he invited him to stay in his home. He went on to become one of Rasputin's most important friends in St. Petersburg, gaining him entry to many of the influential salons where the local aristocracy gathered for religious discussions. It was through these meetings that Rasputin attracted some of his early and influential followers, many of whom would later turn against him. According to historians, Rasputin stayed in St. Petersburg for only a few months on his first visit and returned home in the fall of 1903. Regardless, by 1905, Rasputin had formed friendships with several members of the aristocracy, including Anastasia of Montenegro, who had married cousins of Tsar Nicholas II and were instrumental in introducing Rasputin to the Tsar and his family.
Ooh.
So this is kind of where it takes off. We're getting close to the meat and potatoes of the whole thing.
So when does he become a heel? Okay, well, I'll wait.
Over time.
Yeah, obviously.
Rasputin first met Nicholas on November 1st, 1905, at the Peterhof Palace. The Tsar recorded the event in his diary, writing that he and his Empress consort Alexandra had, quote, made the acquaintance of a man of God, Grigory. Rasputin returned home shortly after their first meeting and did not return to St. Petersburg until 1906. At some point, Nicholas and Alexandra became convinced that Rasputin possessed the miraculous power to heal their only son, Alexei, who suffered from hemophilia. Historians disagree over when this happened. According to one individual, Rasputin was introduced to the Tsar and the Tsarina as a healer who could help their son in November 1905, while another has speculated that it was in October 1906 that Rasputin was first asked to pray for the health of Alexei.
I guess it doesn't really matter.
So for some god-awful reason, someone told them, hey, this dude can heal your son. And they were just like, okay, let's try it.
Yeah, they could have been at that point where they were going to try anything.
Well, yeah, with hemophilia back then,
Yeah.
you had to.
Oh, he was going to die.
Yeah, for sure. You had said not too long ago about him being a healer.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into that.
Okay.
Much of Rasputin's influence with the imperial family stemmed from the belief by Alexandra and the others that he had on several occasions eased Alexei's pain and stopped his bleeding. According to historians, the Tsarina had a passionate attachment to Rasputin, believing he could heal her son's affliction. It is unclear when Rasputin first learned of Alexei's hemophilia or when he first acted as a healer. He may have been aware of Alexei's condition as early as October 1906 and was summoned by Alexandra to pray for him when he had an internal hemorrhage in the spring of 1907.
Ooh.
So all this happens over a very short period of time. Alexei recovered the next morning. Alexandra's friend Anna became convinced that Rasputin had miraculous powers shortly thereafter and became one of his most influential advocates.
Or follower.
Yes.
Depending on who you ask, I guess. So he just had a cult following. It sounds like he still has one to this day. And he just had a basic knowledge of healing and...
Well, he probably learned it at
Yeah.
St. Petersburg.
Right. And then he just tried something and it worked. And then all of a sudden he's...
I could imagine that thought process. He's probably like, well, we should put some grass on it and see what happens. Holy shit, that did the trick.
Yeah.
I can do this.
Yeah, who knows? He might have come across it or someone, who knows?
He probably did weird stuff like spit on his hand and then wave it in the air and then blow it off his hand into their mouth or something like that.
And it could have just been whatever he gave him helped at the time. A lot of different things could have happened, but
Oh, for sure.
sometimes I feel like it'd be cool to live back then, but
Nope.
then I realized I like running water and modern conveniences, and
Oh.
I'm too girly, so no,
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't make it. I'd die.
I would die sooner.
Yes, I think we had this discussion
We
before.
sure did. I just wanted to remind you.
Oh, okay. Either way, I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, me either.
No, thank you.
Like you said, running water's neat, so is Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I could deal without that. I could just read. I know how to entertain myself without the internet.
I could twiddle my thumbs for a while, but they get sore. It's entertainment, I guess.
I'm sure you could find other ways to entertain yourself.
I'll just throw a ball up in the air.
Why do you think there were so many children back then?
Moo-moos existed.
Not then. Just
How do you know?
nightgowns. Nightgowns.
Nightgowns, moo-moos, summer coats, whatever you want to call it. Dusters.
Dusters. Moo-moos didn't come into existence like the 50s, 40s, 50s. You had those long nightgowns that covered you from, you couldn't show anything, even to your husband. That's scandalous.
It's scandalous?
Yeah, you can't see me naked.
Yeah, you're right. I always put up a curtain.
Mm-hmm. Sure do.
Kind of like one of those doctor curtains that like curves around the bed,
Yeah, you can't see me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's really convenient.
It is convenient.
Yeah. It should really be soundproof, though, because you snore.
Nope, I do not snore.
What?
I do not accept that.
You don't? How do you figure?
You snore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just making sure no one's coming around this house. I'm scaring them off.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, they're like, oh my God, there's a demon in there. Can't go inside.
I have video proof.
Yes, you do.
I do. Please don't do that to me.
What?
Video me snoring. I'll be mortified.
Well, I didn't even think about it till this moment, but thank you.
Oh, you're so nice.
That's a good idea.
No, please don't.
I'd rather dump cold water on you when you're taking a shower.
You haven't done that in a long time.
I know. I've been waiting.
Oh, have you?
Oh, sure. Gotta wait for the opportune moment to strike.
I can't sneak up on... You can't sneak up on me. Not in this house.
You sure about that? Because I've scared you a handful of times just walking around a corner unintentionally. You're just like, ah!
Well, I mean, in the shower, I'll be able to hear you. I heard you... I always hear you coming. You're not quiet.
Yeah, I know. I gotta make an announcement. Continuing on with the man himself. During the summer of 1912, Alexei developed a hemorrhage in his thigh and groin after a jolting carriage ride near the Imperial hunting grounds, which caused a large hematoma.
Oh, boy.
In severe pain and delirious with fever, Alexei appeared close to death. In desperation, Alexandra asked Anna to send Rasputin, who was in Siberia at the time, a telegram, asking him to pray for Alexei. Rasputin wrote back quickly, telling the Tsarina that, quote, God has seen your tears and heard your prayers. Do not grieve. The little one will not die. Do not allow the doctors to bother him too much. The next morning, Alexei's condition was unchanged, but Alexandra was encouraged by the message and regained some hope that he would survive. His bleeding stopped the following day. One of the physicians who attended Alexei admitted that, quote, the recovery was wholly inexplicable from a medical standpoint of view. Later, the doctor admitted that Alexandra could not be blamed for seeing Rasputin as a miracle man because Rasputin would come in, walk up to the patient, look at him, and spit. The bleeding would stop in no time. How could the Empress not trust Rasputin after that? Could you imagine if doctors came in and just go, right on your forehead, rubbed it in, it was like, the power of Christ compels you.
Basically what happened is Rasputin helped the kid not die by not letting him get bloodletting and stupid shit they used to do.
What are you talking about? He spit on him. He probably was shocked awake. He was like, oh shit, this dude just spit on me. I'm cured.
No, the inability of the doctors fucking him up even more than he already is really probably what saved him more than anything.
Probably. They would have poked him and prodded him and
tried
to figure out. Yeah.
Yeah.
No? Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, just let him be. He'll be good.
Yeah, sorry for dashing anybody's dreams of a miracle out there, but no.
I mean, when your spit is magical, I guess.
What was in his spit?
Probably alcohol.
Well, I guess they are Russian, aren't they?
Yeah. It was probably the alcohol. It just seeped into his wound and cleaned it.
Didn't you say that he quit drinking?
Oh, yeah, never mind. Forget that. It wasn't alcohol.
And after the monastery, he turned vegetarian because he couldn't handle seeing any meat anymore.
Oh, God. Yeah, that makes sense now. Now that you say that.
Sorry to shock you. I'm so sorry.
Shock me? Not shocked yet.
Just wait.
Girl, I'm married to you. Ain't nothing gonna shock me anymore. Sometimes the shit that comes out of your mouth is a little strange, but I accept it for what it is.
It's not that strange. It could be worse.
It could be?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad it's not then.
I mean, I could ask you stupid things like, would you still love me if I was a worm?
I'd say, yeah, I'd keep you in a little jar.
In a little jar?
In a little jar.
Would you put at least air holes so I could breathe?
Sure.
No, I don't really care. You don't have to love me as a worm.
I'd rather love you as a human.
Thank you.
Glad we got to that point.
You gonna still love me when I'm super old?
I'll be super old, too.
In 4 months, you won't be.
Yeah.
5 months,
You won't be super old in 4 months. Calm
Yes.
down. You'll be okay. You still fine. Historians have called Alexei's recovery one of the most mysterious episodes of the whole Rasputin legend. The cause of his recovery is unclear. There is speculation that Rasputin's suggestion not to let doctors disturb Alexei had aided in his recovery by allowing him to rest and heal, or that his message may have aided Alexei's recovery by calming his mother and reducing the prince's emotional stress.
That too, yeah.
So you're right. It's a good guess.
Mm-hmm.
Alexandra believed that Rasputin had performed a miracle and concluded that he was essential to Alexei's survival. Some writers and historians claim that Rasputin stopped Alexei's bleeding on other occasions through hypnosis. Still, some historians have also speculated that Rasputin controlled Alexei's breathing by disallowing the administration of aspirin, then widely used to relieve pain but unknown as an anti-clogging agent until the 1950s.
I was going to say that would make him bleed more.
Yeah.
If you are enjoying this topic and you would like to talk more about it,
You can find us at Edible Attitude or at Edible Attitude Podcast.
on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram.
So Rasputin, as we know, was involved in a myriad of controversies.
No shit.
Yeah, lots.
That surprises me.
We're going to go over some of them.
Oh, thank God.
I'm sure there's more, but
I'm
these
ready.
are just the ones I know.
I'm ready for it.
The imperial family's belief in Rasputin's healing powers brought him considerable status and power at court. Nicholas appointed Rasputin his lamplighter, charged him with keeping the lamps lit before religious icons in the palace, which gained him regular access to the palace and imperial family. By December 1906, Rasputin had become close enough to ask a special favor of the Tsar, that he be permitted to change his surname to Rasputin New. I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
Just the word new. Like
New. Like
Like-
N-E-W.
Yeah.
New.
this isn't the old Rasputin
It's the
anymore.
new
He's
one.
new one. He's the new one.
Okay.
Nicholas granted the request, and the name change was speedily processed, suggesting that Rasputin already had the Tsar's favor at an early date. Rasputin used his position to full effect, accepting bribes and sexual favors from admirers and working diligently to expand his influence.
Oh, boy.
Rasputin soon became a controversial figure. He was accused by his enemies of religious heresy and rape, was suspected of exerting undue political influence over the Tsar, and even rumored to be having an affair with the Tsarina.
Ooh.
Opposition to Rasputin's influence grew within the Eastern Orthodox Church. In 1907, the local clergy in his family's town denounced Rasputin as a heretic, and the Bishop of Tobolsk launched an inquest into his activities, accusing him of spreading false doctrines. In St. Petersburg, Rasputin faced opposition from even more prominent critics, including the Prime Minister and the Tsar's secret police. Having ordered an investigation into his activities, the Prime Minister confronted Nicholas, but did not succeed in reining in Rasputin's influence or exiling him from St. Petersburg. Outside the royal court, Rasputin preached that physical contact between him and others purified them. He engaged in drunken revels and extramarital affairs with a wide range of women, from prostitutes to high society ladies.
I thought we already knew that.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be interesting to see his lineage, because I'm sure there's illegitimate children.
Oh, yeah, probably.
So there's little Rasputin still running around to this day.
Yeah,
At this point, be like 4 times great-grandpa.
something
Weird.
crazy like that.
Weird to think that way. Well, my great-grandma was born in 1904.
Oh,
so
shit.
that, I would say, 3 to 4 times great-grandpa.
Yeah, that's a long... Well, it's not that long, I guess. Ways away.
Mm-mm.
Fairly close.
He was born, what, in 1880? 1870? What did you say? I can't remember.
1860 something.
Oh, okay. That was just back during the Civil War.
Yep. In 1909, one of Rasputin's early supporters accused him of rape. The woman sought aid from the archbishop, who became convinced that Rasputin was a danger to the monarchy. Rumors multiplied that Rasputin had assaulted female followers and behaved inappropriately on visits with the imperial family, and particularly with Nicholas's teenage daughters, Olga and Tatiana. During this period, the First World War, the dissolution of feudalism, and a meddling government bureaucracy all contributed to Russia's rapid economic decline. Many laid the blame on Alexandra and Rasputin. One outspoken member of the Duma stated in November 1916 that he held the Tsar's ministers had been turned into marionettes whose threads have been taken firmly in the hand by Rasputin and the Empress Alexandra, the evil genius of Russia, and the Tsarina, who has remained a German on the Russian throne and an alien to the country and its people. The Tsarina had been born a German princess.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they would freak out about it.
Sure. Absolutely.
So there were a couple assassination attempts before the successful one.
So only 2?
I think so.
Okay. That we know of.
That we know of, yes. There could have been more, and they just, lost a knife walking to,
Sure.
His house or something. I don't know.
Okay.
On the 12th of July, 1914, a 33-year-old peasant woman attempted to assassinate Rasputin by stabbing him in the stomach outside his home where his family resided. Rasputin was seriously wounded, and for a time it was not clear if he would survive. After surgery and some time in the hospital, he recovered.
Wow. Damn, that's crazy.
It is. Just walking out your doors and toot, stab.
Zoot.
He got zooted. The woman was a follower of a former priest who had supported Rasputin before denouncing his sexual escapades and self-glorification in December 1911. A radical conservative and anti-Semite, the priest had been part of a group of establishment figures who had attempted to drive a wedge between Rasputin and the royal family. When this effort failed, he was banished from St. Petersburg and was ultimately defrocked. The woman claimed to have acted alone, having read about Rasputin in the newspaper and believing him to be a false prophet and even the Antichrist. Both the police and Rasputin, however, believed that the priest had instigated the assassination attempt. He fled the country before he could be questioned, and the woman was found to be not responsible for her actions by reasons of insanity.
Always the insanity play.
Well, yeah. No,
especially if you're a woman.
I'm batshit crazy. You can't believe a word I say.
That's my out.
That's your out?
Absolutely.
Want to get divorced? Why? I'm insane.
Why does it always have to be that? You're stuck with me until I'm dead.
Well, I hope so. I wouldn't want it any other way, dear.
Good.
On to the successful assassination attempt.
That's unfortunate.
Is it?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't really know what to think. At this point, he's just having a ball.
No, he's not. He's not gay.
Yeah, you're right.
Sorry. I'll stop with the gay jokes. Apologize.
He didn't like the men, okay? We went over this.
We did. I think he did. He was running from it.
Yeah, just scared. A group of nobles decided that Rasputin's influence over Alexandra threatened the Russian Empire. They concocted a plan in December of 1916 to kill Rasputin, apparently by luring him to the Moika Palace. Rasputin was murdered during the early morning on December 30th, 1916, at the home of Prince Yesipov. He died of 3 gunshot wounds, one of which was close-range shot to the forehead.
That'll do it.
Little is certain about his death beyond this, and the circumstances of his death have been the subject of considerable speculation. According to historians, what really happened at the prince's home on the 17th of December will never be known. The story that the prince recounted in his memoirs, however, has become the most frequently told version of events.
Which is?
Exactly. According to the prince's account, Rasputin was invited to his palace shortly after midnight and ushered into the basement. He was offered tea and cakes, which had been laced with cyanide. After initially refusing the cakes, Rasputin began to eat them and, to the prince's surprise, appeared unaffected by the poison. Rasputin then asked for wine, which had also been poisoned, and drank 3 glasses of it. But still, he showed no sign of distress. At around 2:30 a.m., just partying all night, I suppose, the prince excused himself to go upstairs where his fellow conspirators were waiting. He took a revolver, then returned to the basement and told Rasputin that he'd better look at the crucifix and say a prayer, referring to a crucifix in the room, then shot him once in the chest. The conspirators then drove to Rasputin's apartment with a man wearing his coat and hat in an attempt to make it look as though Rasputin had returned home that night. Upon returning to his palace, the prince went back to the basement to ensure that Rasputin was dead. Suddenly, Rasputin leaped up and attacked him, who freed himself with some effort and fled upstairs. So he was not going down without a fight.
Wow. I think he was like the man in black from Princess Bride, where he just slowly dosed himself with poison so that so he could survive if he got poisoned.
Maybe, but he was shot.
I know, but that's why the prior cyanide and stuff didn't work.
That'd be a weird thing to dose yourself with cyanide just to get used to it.
Yeah.
Ugh, I'd get sick so quick. So would anybody else if you ingested rat poison? So there's that.
Oh, it's my favorite pastime.
Oh my. Rasputin followed him into the palace's courtyard, where he was shot. He collapsed into a snowbank. Then the conspirators wrapped his body in a cloth, drove to the Petrovsky Bridge, and dropped him into the Little Nevka River. In an unsubstantiated claim, the Grand Duchess Tatiana, who was earlier alleged to have been raped by Rasputin, was present at the site of Rasputin's murder, disguised as a lieutenant, so that she could get revenge herself on Rasputin, who had tried to violate her. The French ambassador to Russia, Maurice, told that Tatiana had supposedly witnessed Rasputin's castration, but he doubted the credibility of the rumor. Whoa! Slow down, Maurice. In a modern analysis of Rasputin's death, however, a Dr. Harris notes that the actual circumstances were apparently less dramatic than the prince's account.
That's bullshit!
Well, yeah, you gotta make it dramatic.
Yeah.
Rasputin's daughter recorded that her father disliked sweet food and would not have eaten the supposedly poisoned cakes. An autopsy account by the official surgeon involved has no record of poisoning or drowning, but simply records death by a single bullet fired into the head at close range.
Well, how would they know anything about poison? Did they do an autopsy? Probably not.
Probably not.
There's a bullet in his head. That's pretty damning evidence that he died from a gunshot wound to the head.
Yeah, but what if they're, just had to check to see if there was other factors?
I doubt it.
Like what actually killed him, other than the gunshot wound to the forehead. News of Rasputin's murder spread quickly, even before his body was found. According to historians, one of the conspirators spoke openly about the murder to 2 soldiers and to a policeman who was investigating reports of shots shortly after the event, but urged them not to tell anyone else. Why would you open your mouth? What a dumbass. Hey man, I did this, but don't say anything. Like what? What the fuck was the thought process?
He was proud of it.
I guess. I don't know why. An investigation was launched the next morning. The Stock Exchange Gazette ran a report of Rasputin's death, quote, after a party in one of the most aristocratic homes in the center of the city. After 2 workmen discovered blood on the railing of the bridge and a boot on the ice below, police began searching the area. Rasputin's body was found under the icy river approximately 218 yards downstream from the bridge. The city's senior autopsy surgeon examined the body. His report was lost, how convenient.
Right.
But he later stated that Rasputin's body had shown signs of severe trauma, including 3 gunshot wounds, 1 at close range to the forehead, a slice wound to his left side, and other injuries, many of which the doctor felt had been sustained post-mortem.
Oh.
He found a single bullet in Rasputin's body, but stated that it was too badly deformed and of a type too widely used to trace.
Well, back then it was.
I suppose, but what a fucking cop-out. He was paid off.
No, they didn't have forensics and ballistics and shit back then.
I don't care. Do better.
They did. We've come a long way in the last 110 years.
He didn't do good enough. That's what I know. He was paid by the mob. That's what happened.
The mob, absolutely.
Yeah. Or a gay priest, who knows?
It's probably more likely.
He found no evidence that Rasputin had been poisoned. According to historians, the doctor found no water in Rasputin's lungs, and reports that Rasputin had been thrown into the water alive were incorrect. Some later accounts claim that Rasputin's penis has been severed, but the good doctor found his genitals intact.
Oh, thank God. We don't need another penis just floating around like Napoleon.
Yeah. I did hear a story when I first heard about this.
Yeah.
That his head was in a museum, and so was his dick.
Oh?
I don't know why. No clue.
Weird.
Why would you keep a dick? I'm here, but what's up?
Because men are gross, that's why.
Yeah.
Some men think that that's where their power comes from.
My power comes from sleeping. I sleep so good. All the time.
Must be nice.
It really is. You have no idea.
I know I don't.
Falling asleep, kind of difficult. Sometimes.
Because I'm snoring
Because
too
you're
loud.
snoring. Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome. When Rasputin was buried, the funeral was attended only by the imperial family and a few others. Rasputin's wife, mistress, and children were not invited, although his daughters met with the imperial family later that day.
How can they disinvite his... Okay.
I fuck if I know. No clue.
I'm not asking. I'm just asking.
Because he was a holy man and it need to be respected, yada, yada, yada.
But he was married with children. Okay. I'm gonna stop asking the obvious questions.
They just wanted to be difficult, I'm sure.
They just wanted to hide his gayness.
Maybe that was it.
No, I'm just kidding.
The imperial family planned to build a church over Rasputin's gravesite. However, his body was exhumed and burned by a detachment of soldiers shortly after Nicholas abdicated the throne in March of 1917, so that his grave would not become a rallying point for supporters of the old regime.
Oh, good. That was titillating.
No, I'm pretty sure her name is Tatiana, or Tatiana. I don't know what titillating has to do with anything.
I said your story was titillating.
But
yes.
that's all I got. That's all there is, as far as I know. There's a lot more details that go into it, but there's a lot of confusing names, and I didn't know.
You weren't about that life.
I wasn't about that life. No, it wasn't it wasn't as exciting as this is.
You just took the exciting parts of
absolutely.
Rasputin's life.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sounds like he was a scoundrel.
He was a scoundrel and a holy man, and then a not a holy man, and then part gay monk, and then a sex orgy.
He had to cleanse himself of all the gay sex he had in the monastery, so he decided to become a cult leader and have sex with all his women followers, and probably some men too during the orgy. He didn't care. He wasn't picky. And then he decided to become a man of God because God called him again.
Pretty sure he was doing this while he was a man of God.
Oh, sorry.
Also.
True.
But yeah, you're right. But he was defrocked and derobed and all that stuff, so...
Yeah, because he had an orgy. Duh.
They had orgies.
Duh.
As far as people know. Interesting, though, as to why orgies had anything to do with a religious standpoint, but what do I fucking know? I bet you Pastafarians, they don't do that shit.
No, I don't think they do.
They just worship the flying spaghetti monster and wear colanders on their heads.
I see nothing wrong with that. It's a peaceful existence.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different, like, religious holidays you could have off, too. It's a ridiculous thing.
So if I decided I actually was a Pastafarian, my work would have to give me certain days off.
Yeah. Because they don't discriminate against race or religion.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. You can make anything up. Be like, I can't work any days, and I need to get paid by the government. And they would be like, how does this work? Don't ask questions. I mean, if that Mormon guy can do it, why can't some dude from California with a...
True story.
Noodle strainer.
Noodle strainer.
So what'd you think, dear?
It's a very interesting human being. And it's funny how people can become something bigger than they really are just by what people believe.
Oh,
Faith has a huge part in a lot of that. I mean, I can understand. He was probably very charismatic.
Oh, I'm sure.
And the fact that, if he got all those people to follow him, he had to have been fairly charismatic, and hence why he was widely believed and followed. It always eventually catches up to him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
that's
agree.
That's why he was murdered.
Well, people thought he was influencing their whole regime and ruining their shit, so they had to get rid of him, which, in hindsight, it didn't really matter.
No, because they killed him anyway.
Right. All right, babe. Let's get going, and we'll come back to this
Next week.
Yeah, you got a little insight into what you're going to do yet?
No.
It'll be a surprise.
Yeah, I don't know what I want to do yet. I'll think about it. And I'll probably No, I won't blow your mind.
Sure will. Just like, what was that dwarf's name? What was his name? Haagen-Dazs?
Your name's Haagen-Dazs.
Hobby. The dwarf's name was Hobby.
That's right.
From last episode. Poor Hobby. If Hobby was around, Rasputin wouldn't have fucked around.
You're right.
Because Hobby would have kicked his ass.
He would have fucked around and found out.
He would have got up on like a step stool and looked him dead in the eyes, stared him down.
He probably needed to be more than on a step stool.
A couple boxes, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, babe. Let's get going to bed.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it.
Every one of you, thank you so much.
And as always,
I'm Elizabeth.
and I'm Tyler.
This is the Edible Attitude Podcast.